Hello fellow musicians and music enthusiasts. In this video we're going to talk about the RCM Level 2 Practical Piano Exam. The information here is based on the 2022 syllabus released by the RCM in March of 2022, and it is the most current syllabus as of this recording, which is in April 2022. We're going to talk about each section of the exam, so the overview of each section, the substitutions that you're allowed to make if you choose to, the grading scheme of the exam, and finally any changes that were made compared to the 2015 syllabus. So let's get into it. So if you watched our Level 1 exam requirements for piano, this will be very familiar to you. We still have the same three main sections of the exam. So repertoire, technical requirements, and musicianship. And in fact, a lot of the information here will be the same as for the Level 1 exam. As you can imagine, they're only one level apart. But there will be some differences in exactly what you need to learn. So let's keep going. Let's talk about each of these in turn now, starting with repertoire. For the repertoire, for Level 2, we still have our three pieces from each of the lists. List A piece, List B piece, and List C piece. And as you might remember, each list represents music from a particular genre or a historical period. And keep in mind that you can earn 2 extra marks per piece if you have it memorized. Let's keep going. So for the technical requirements, we still have our technical tests and etudes, the two sections here. And let's look into the technical tests in more detail. We have our scales and chords as we remember from Level 1. However, they are a little bit different here. So for the major scales, the G and F, so they are the same. We did have them in the Level 1 exam. And the one addition here would be the B flat major scale. For the minor, we also did E and D in the previous level, but we did the natural and harmonic versions of these. So you're also going to have to learn the melodic version and also learn the G minor. So we have E, D, and G minor scales, harmonic and melodic versions. Formula pattern, this time we have the C and G major formula pattern. Hands together, of course. This is the only one we have to play hands together here. HS, by the way, means hands separate. And finally, for the chromatic scale for this level, it's the one starting on G. Alright, for the chords, so we still have the G and F major triads, and the new one is the B flat major. And for the minor, we still have the E and D, and we need to add the G minor. And remember, these need to be played in broken and solid forms. And for this level, we also have just one etude to learn. For the musicianship, we have our two familiar parts here, the ear test and sight reading. For the ear test, we still have clapback, intervals, chords, and playback. And for the sight reading, we have rhythm and playing. So all of these sections are exactly the same as we had for Level 1. Let's look in a little more detail into each one. This is what does change a little bit here. So for example, for the clapback, our two possible time signatures now are 3/4 or 4/4. Now if you remember, the clapback is where the examiner plays a short melody and the student has to clap it back or clap the rhythm back as accurately as possible. For the intervals, the new addition here from the previous level is the perfect fifth. So again, we're identifying the correct size and the quality of the interval here as either a minor third, a major third, or a perfect fifth. For the chords, this is exactly the same. We're identifying the quality of a triad as being either major or minor. And for the playback, the possible keys here in which the melody might be are G or F major or D minor, and the starting note is still either the tonic or the dominant. Now remember, the playback is where the examiner plays a short melody for you, and then you go up to the piano and you have to try to recreate it as best you can. Okay, so that covers the ear tests. And for the sight reading, for the rhythm, this time is going to be in one of two possible times, so 3/4/4/4. And the rhythm again is where you see a short rhythm written down in front of you, and you have to tap and clap it back the best you can. And for the playing, which is the actual sight reading, where you're given some music in front of you and you have to play it for the examiner. So the possible keys here are C, G or F major, or A or D minor, and the time signature is 4/4. Moving on. For the substitutions, the rules are the same as we had for the previous level. So remember, first of all, that this is optional. You don't have to substitute any of your pieces, but if you do choose to play something different, then here are the rules you have to stick to. So you can substitute a maximum of 2 pieces, one from repertoire and or one from etudes. For the repertoire substitution, we can replace list A or B piece with a list A or B piece from level 3, which is the next higher level, and the list C piece cannot be replaced or substituted, so please keep that in mind. We can also choose to substitute the list B piece with a teacher's choice, which has to be of similar length and difficulty level. Moving on, for the etude substitutions, we can replace one etude with a level 3 etude, or with the teacher's choice, or with a popular selection list. The grading scheme. So this is exactly the same as the one we had for level 1, but let's go through it nevertheless. So we have our 3 main sections of the exam. The repertoire again is the one that's worth the most marks, 56, and is broken down into 16 marks for list A piece, 18 for list B, 16 for list C, and 6 for memorization. For the technical requirements, we have a total of 24 that we can earn, which is broken down into 12 for the etude and 12 for the technical tests. And for the musicianship, we have a total of 20, 10 for ear tests, and 10 for sight reading, which again brings us to a total of 100, and the passing grade is 60. As for the changes from the 2015 syllabus, again, the RCM has not made any changes for the requirements. The only difference is that they have chosen to replace or freshen up many of the pieces that you will see in the repertoire and etude books. Otherwise, all the requirements are exactly the same. Alright, so that takes us to the end of this video. Hopefully you found it useful. If you are taking or planning to take the level 2 piano exam, we wish you luck, and we'll see you in the next video.